Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks.
What up, y'all? This is Attorney Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. I'm going to have a discussion about this Kamala Harris presidential candidacy. She accepted the nomination, I believe, yesterday, and I really don't know what her campaign is. You know, for 2019, 2020, I believe that ADOS was central in shutting down the nonsense that was Kamala Harris. When the Philly Inquirer article comes out, and we're demanding a black agenda from this woman that's Indian and Jamaican. Nothing wrong with being Jamaican, but it is not American descendant of slavery. I don't know how you created a group identifier that unified this, but I know that we're ADOS. I know my family that was in Mississippi in the 60s, they wasn't flying to India. Not in the 70s. I just want to talk today because I don't know what she is now. It feels like she's more prop than presidential candidate. It feels like she's more placeholder than anything else. And the problem is that she's going to be seen through us and make us the voice of oppressors. So we come from slavery. We never got reparations. She not going to give you no reparations. She don't have a regular agenda. So you damn sure can't ask for no black agenda. You got black people, particularly black women, championing her and can't understand or explain what is her goddamn economic agenda. What is her international agenda? What is her black agenda? What is she going to do for you to justify you supporting her? Because right now, all she is fluff. Can we talk? 310-388-3499 to call in. I want to have this discussion. This is from the actual speech last night, which I thought was an absolute failure, a debacle. It was 37 minutes long. And in 2008, and I'm going to show you some of Obama's speech from 2008 in Denver. His speech was 52 minutes. When you're introducing yourself, and this is your first time as the lead presidential candidate, you have to give us 52 minutes in policy. Now, if you're the incumbent, you can do a shorter speech. Obama broke the mold, and in 2012 gave us 38 minutes, but that was the shortest since 72. But again, that's because it was his second term. That was not a political speech. She was repeating stump speeches she did on the campaign trail. She gave you nothing. For you not to understand that, have went to college or something, I don't know who failed you. Politically, it was inept. It was empty. It was vacuous. She has been propped up, put here, stole our that goddamn liberal vote, and ain't nobody saying nothing. So I'm gonna say it today. I want to get to it. How's everybody doing today? We in the chat. If you want to get your voice heard, 310-388-3499. At some point in this video, so you can see that I'm not just talking. I'm going to compare and contrast with a 15-minute clip cutting from Obama's 2008 Denver DNC convention speech to Kamala's, and you'll see the gap. It's like one person Usain Bolt and the other person running for goddamn Umaga. They running for Sumwali. Where are those places? Countries we ain't heard of. I made them shits up. She is running a campaign to be a local district attorney, not a presidential campaign. And many of you don't know the difference, which shows that your parents failed you when they taught you politics, if they taught you anything at all. Up there talking about what her DA resume is. Them lawmakers want to wait until after Harris's win to set policy agenda. You're voting for a platform, not a person. You're not here to celebrate that she looked like Claire Huxtable. You're here to demand and ask, where's your goddamn black agenda? You're here to demand and ask, why did you put Sheree Peoples and other black women in jail for truancy laws, and are you going to take it federal? You're here to ask, how are you going to fix my schools? I don't want just saying, I'm going to fix the schools. I want to know the numbers. And if you can't say them fast, I don't want you. I think she has an aptitude ability. An ability issue as well. Just my view. I want to talk. Can I talk today? I don't know how many people saw RFK dropped out. The importance of RFK isn't him as a candidate as much as the fact that he was actually polling 3 to 5%. That's a big swing. I believe he's endorsing Trump. But when he dropped out, he said some things. And I want you guys to hear what RFK said so you can understand it's not just coming from good old Tone. Let's get to it.
The DNC and its media organs engineered a surge of popularity for Vice President Harris based upon, well, nothing. No policies, no interviews, no debates, only smoke and mirrors and balloons in a highly produced Chicago circus. There in Chicago, a string of Democratic speakers mentioned Donald Trump 147 times just on the first day. Well, who needs a policy when you have Trump to hate?
Can we talk about it? Can we get to it? Can we have this discussion? Because I don't understand what everybody's talking about. All I know is they talking about giving you the policy after the campaign, after the vote. How is that not voter disenfranchisement? They done already gave you a lady that ain't supposed to be running. What am I saying? There's no precedent for them swapping out a candidate, not only this late, but after Trump chose his vice president. That should never have been allowed. And the only instant it should have been allowed is if there is total mental failure by the main candidate. And then there should be an open convention, which means Biden can still be the president, and he has full use of his mind to be the president. I don't even think I can tell you how much this is a failure. We got jobs numbers that they then got to celebrate walking up to this that say they saying now that they're third off. 800,000 jobs wasn't real. Kamala did not address that in her speech. I never seen a presidential campaign, if you remember back, where it was sold to us as the Biden-Harris ticket, almost like they were partners. But all of a sudden now she want to slide back like she don't know Biden like that. I want to talk. So she get to take both sides of the coin. She the partner on the messaging and the banners, and the name of the VP is always on the banners. But it just didn't feel like Biden was getting the top ticket that we see, like with Obama, that we saw with Bush, that we saw. It felt more like Biden-Harris. So now when it's time to be Biden-Harris, we gonna say no, Biden president was the president, but then we gonna say she still got experience. But then we gonna say she got experience because she was the VP. So we giving her both sides of the coins. That's her whole life, all the way back to Willie Brown and that craziness. I want you guys to understand how crazy this is. Kamala's moment, the pantsuit is truly empty. This is an opinion piece. When Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris as his running mate 4 years ago, he said he did so because she would assume the office on day one. More than 30 days after becoming the presumptive nominee, Harris still does not seem ready to be the Democratic Party's nominee, yet let alone president. She is an empty pantsuit, basking in the glow of positive media coverage and unburdened by accountability. Her acceptance speech confirmed that. Come on. Harris has now officially accepted the Democratic Party's nomination. Her nomination was historic, as liberals like to say, but not because of her ethnicity. Rather, she is the first nominee of either party who did not have to secure a single delegate or a single vote in the primary. She is historic in that it is highly unlikely that she could have secured the nomination had there been any sort of competition. I'm going to show you later. Tulsi Gabbard got 2 delegates. She got 2. You know, Elizabeth Warren had more, Buttigieg had more. Kamala announced before everybody and had none. She's an abject failure as a politician, in my view. And now she's running for president and then took the spot that we as liberal voters are supposed to have to give our vote and demand change in the system. And she ain't no change. She don't even know how to fucking do a speech. She get off that teleprompter, she be messing up and cringy and struggling. In keeping with how she got the nomination, her acceptance speech was all sizzle and no steak. It will be billed as containing her vision for America. There was no vision there. I'll show you in a second, but it contains no such thing. It wasn't much different from the stump speech she's been reading off the teleprompter since Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democratic Party elite knifed Biden last month and tossed his body into the dumpster earlier this week. Again, 310-388-3499 to hear your opinion. The biographical part of her speech was spent reshaping standard information into applause lines. Her introduction video talked about her time on various Senate committees, questioning witnesses about issues near and dear to the left. What it didn't contain was any accomplishments. In her brief time in the Senate, Harris authored 0 bills that became law. We got a lady up here talking about what she used to do as a prosecutor in San Francisco, or what she did as attorney general in California while she's running for president. She does not have the political bona fides. She does not have the resume. She should not be here. She don't have the delegates. Well, she does now because they forced her to on everybody. They just gave her Biden's delegates. And then they didn't really run Biden against nobody because they forced Biden on us the second term. The night was more about vibes than anything else. The crowd cheered like it was their job because it was their job. They're partisan, bent on selling her candidacy, and that's what they did. As for what Harris would do as president, your guess is as good as mine. She has given us no vision to talk about. I was among the first people to show you guys she didn't have no agenda posted. Everybody told me wait 2 weeks. I waited 2 weeks. There still wasn't no agenda posted. We can't even talk about a black agenda. We can't talk about reparations. We got an Indian Jamaican lady with no agenda up there, standing up there for white oppression and white power that we don't even know the names of. Can we talk? Can I get to it today? A lot of y'all don't understand. Please support the channel. You got to support these shows. You got this lady dancing and goofing around and can't give a speech. This man said, this Lee Zeldin, I believe he's a conservative, Kamala Harris became the first candidate to become a major party presidential nominee without receiving even a single vote, without putting even a single policy on the website, without standing for anything. Even as a liberal, I even see this point he posted as undeniable. The Democratic ticket has diminished down to pushing itself forward on a cult of celebrity, not politics. Remember they promised that Beyonce was going to be there? They had all the people buzzing about Beyonce. Do you know what a failure it is that room was thinking about Beyonce? I didn't see that at the RNC. You have a room full of people that are there for a political presidential nomination talking about whether Beyonce is going to show up with her old ass. So that the reason why I'm saying old is it's important. That means that it ain't young 20-year-olds that's saying that. It's your old ass. I'm old too. You 40-something years old worried about whether Beyonce gonna be on stage when you're not asking why that lady that's up there that's Indian and Jamaican ain't got no policy for your family. She didn't show up though. You know it's going crazy when TMZ got to come out and admit they messed up. This goes back to 2019. Kamala announced first, had all the energy coming out of California. And you look, and Biden got 664, Bernie had 573. These are the delegates. Klobuchar had 7, Buttigieg had 26, even Tulsi had 2. Kamala name ain't on here. 0. The lady with 0 that got the presidency, vice presidency, which I believe through South Carolina and the ADOS vote and Clyburn, is now running for president. And she don't have no reason to be here. It was earlier than that. Me and Yvette told y'all about Kamala probably like 2017, 2018, that they was going to set this up. You heard Obama talk about, we got unusual names. They don't want your name, Johnson, Jackson, Moore. They don't want that. Nuh-uh. We want the unusual names, them non-ADOS names. She gave a speech about a week and a half ago. I told Yvette when I was looking at it, it looked like it's about 45 people in there. It looked like a movie set. Well, when the picture came out, this was the other side of that movie set. It's hot here in LA. It's been a heat wave, so excuse me if I'm wiping my face. When the picture came out, that was the picture. She up there nervous with 35 people in there. 100, I think they said 110. She announced about price gauging. Y'all ever heard of price gauging? In the chat, anybody heard of price gauging? The word is gouging. This was a key moment for her to tell us some kind of policy. All she had to do was actually get the key rooting of the policy words down, and she couldn't do that right. She said price gauging. This was not a policy speech. It was a generic runaround. Kamala Harris didn't even know her position was price gouging. Then she don't mention the price gouging, to my knowledge, during her speech yesterday during the nomination. She didn't mention the tips. She didn't mention the price gouging. We left all that out. Okay. Can we talk? Can we talk? She had a whole week to get this little basic college level speech she did with this whole movie set looking thing. And couldn't get the words right. 310-388-3499. Tell me what you thought about her speech last night. Let's keep it going. We gonna see. I told y'all when she did the little speech, we'll see the impact in the next days. But Kamala Harris, August 16, 2024, economic speech may have been one of the worst political speeches by a major candidate in decades. At the least, it's literally changed all the manufactured media that was for her, and they were talking against her. You had the Washington Post, the Times demand serious economic Harris supplies gimmicks. Harris' plan to stop price gouging could create more problems than it solves. Communism. Kamala Harris promised an economic agenda last week. That Friday speech was a few odd economic ideas. It wasn't a robust liberal agenda we deserve or were promised. I think right here what I'm going to do, and I want you guys to stay tuned and watch it. It's about 14 minutes, and then we're going to come back. Because right now, you know that the Kamala speech was bad, but I don't think you remember how bad it was. I'm going to show you a clip of Obama and Kamala back to back. Obama in 2008 in Denver accepting the nomination, and Kamala. She doesn't even have timing. They're chanting USA, USA. She starts talking over them. You have to let that moment sit. You have to have a gravitas. She don't even have that. I don't know what she has.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. To Chairman Dean and my great friend, Dick Durbin, and to all my fellow citizens of this great nation, with profound gratitude and great humility, I accept your nomination for presidency of the United States. Let me
Thank you all. Okay, we got to get to some business. We got to get to some business. Okay.
Let me say something before I let this keep going. Do you guys notice how he used "thank you" to basically signal I appreciate you as the listener, but I'm about to start speaking with pauses in between the thank you. This lady is so cringy and so basic that she doesn't understand. You don't tell people we got to get to some business when you're giving the presidential acceptance. We actually didn't get the acceptance to the middle of the speech with her. Obama knew to do it first. She has nothing. This is total failure that they gave us this lady. Let me let the rest go.
Thank you all. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, thank you. Selection has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self, to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections, to the peaceful transfer of power. I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations, a president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense, and always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, at practically every turn. But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for. A fight for America's future. Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care for our children. America, we are not going back. Charting a new way forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success, and building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because, as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare. Now compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight.
Because we love this country too much to let the next 4 years look just like the last 8. On November 4th, we must stand up and say 8 is enough. Let there be no doubt. The Republican nominee, John McCain, has worn the uniform of our country with bravery and distinction. And for that, we owe him our gratitude and our respect. And next week, we'll also hear about those occasions when he's broken with his party as evidence that he can deliver the change that we need. But the record's clear. John McCain has voted with George Bush 90%. Well, it's time for them to own their failure. It's time for us to change America. And that's why I'm running for president of the United States. You see, we Democrats have a very different measure of what constitutes progress in this country. We measure progress by how many people can find a job that pays the mortgage, whether you can put a little extra money away at the end of each month so you can someday watch your child receive her college diploma. Let me spell out exactly what that change would mean if I am president. Change means a tax code that doesn't reward the lobbyists who wrote it, but the American workers and small businesses who deserve it. You know, unlike John McCain, I will stop giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas, and I will start giving them to companies that create good jobs right here in America. I'll eliminate capital gains taxes for the small businesses and startups that will create the high-wage, high-tech jobs of tomorrow. I will cut taxes for 95% of all working families. Because in an economy like this, the last thing we should do is raise taxes on the middle class. And for the sake of our economy, our security, and the future of our planet, I will set a clear goal as president. In 10 years, we will finally end our dependence on oil from the Middle East. We will do this. Washington's been talking about our oil addiction for the last 30 years. And by the way, John McCain's been there for 26 of them. And in that time, he has said no to higher fuel efficiency standards for cars, no to investment in renewable energy, no to renewable fuels. And today we import triple the amount of oil than we had on the day that Senator McCain took office. Now is the time to end this addiction and to understand that drilling is a stopgap measure, not a long-term solution, not even close. As president, I will tap our natural gas reserves, invest in clean coal technology, and find ways to safely harness nuclear power. I'll help our auto companies retool so that the fuel-efficient cars of the future are built right here in America. I'll make it easier for the American people to afford these new cars. And I'll invest $150 billion over the next decade in affordable, renewable sources of energy, wind power and solar power, and the next generation of biofuels, an investment that will lead to new industries and 5 million new jobs that pay well and can't be outsourced. America, now is not the time for small plans. Now is the time to finally meet our moral obligation.
So I did that not to support Obama. I went down ballot Democrat. I did that to show you the context of a acceptance speech and the things that are supposed to be accomplished, and how Kamala did none of that and can't speak that well. I'm going to take the first caller to get their opinion, see what they say. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Calling from right here on Vermont Ave. Tone Talk.
All right, give me
I'm a local, I'm from Maplewood, but I work on Vermont, so that's where I am right now.
Cool.
And man, I just want to ask people that look like us. First of all, this woman, she ain't black.
She black. She ain't, hold on. I just want to make sure I get it right for my show. She's not Black American. I don't even understand the black category. We should have been stopped using it. It used to mean ADOS because they weren't here. Black immigrants were not here in any number before 1980. She's not Black American. She is Jamaican, but I don't know how that makes her part of our group. Go ahead.
And second off, if you look at her policies and what she did while she was here in California, she did so many things. And I'm a watcher. I'm a watcher of the show also.
Thank you.
And Brother Phil also talked about some of the things, had some of the people, you know, you look at the sister who her daughter was had a disability.
Sheree People.
Kamala took her to court, in criminal court, and tried to almost send that woman to jail.
Let me say one thing about that, because I've had Sheree on twice. What actually happened, so everybody's clear, is Kamala was the attorney general. She set up, pushed on her own the law that was then used by the Orange County district attorney, that's a right-wing part of California, to prosecute Sheree Peoples. It does not exist without Kamala Harris. She didn't do the prosecution. She weaponized the ability for the prosecution to happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that it looks like she's cosplaying a Black American. She's building her back off she's building her career off the back of Black Americans, and most of her policies are against us. And what the DNC did with having planned abortion, parked outside of the DNC, offering vasectomies and abortions, that's what the Democratic Party thinks about Black people. Margaret Sanger and the Democratic Party started Planned Parenthood, and the same will go on. So we got to change ourselves and our mentality when dealing with these politics.
Thank you, man. Let me take the next caller. Thank you for calling in from Vermont. Shout out to LA. Let me take the next caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Thank you, Andre.
Yeah.
No, we can't hear you. You got to talk into the phone. I think you might be on speaker. Hello?
All right.
Got you. Go ahead.
Better.
Your name, where you calling from?
All right. Yeah, this is Minister Steve with my eyes. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, I'm calling, man, about, I think that people are on the COVID juice, you know what I mean?
seemed like everybody correlated that vaccine.
I don't want to talk.
I
I don't understand why we talking about the vaccine. Like we talking about that was like years ago. Right now, I just want to focus on Kamala Harris, the speech. How did she get here? How you feel? Are you gonna vote for her? Give me that stuff. I apologize, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm correlating that with everybody believing that what these people are telling the narrative is true.
Come on.
We've seen this whole time that Joe has been decrepit or declining in his mental ability. But they're playing like he's been the one to wheel the whole time. We gotta understand there's a bigger play at hand.
Come on.
When we look at Kamala and what she's been doing, she's plainly told us she's boule and her agenda is for the bourgeoisie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's when she's saying she's for the middle class. A lot of our people are disillusioned by thinking that they're actually middle class. She's got this policy talking about the $25,000 down payment for first generation home buyers. That's not talking about us as ADOS.
And it doesn't.
The immigrants because
and it doesn't do nothing in LA.
ADOS, have had someone in the family who's owned a home or something, some point, one another. You know what I mean? And
it don't do nothing in LA. Caller. And it don't do nothing in LA because it's 800,000. I go back to her middle class thing. I want to see proof she worked at McDonald's. Yeah. I don't believe it. I'm just telling you myself. If it was for a very short time. I worked at McDonald's for real, while I was in high school.
Indeed.
I paid my own goddamn child support with McDonald's work because my pops didn't pay. So I don't know what this fucking lady is talking about. And what I'm saying to you is that people is out here and they not really talking the truth about what their life was. She was on a plane to India in the 70s. Do you understand? Your mama and your grandmama never left this country as ADOS. How is she middle class going to India in the 70s? How much were them tickets? She tell us about her mama, but she don't tell us about her granddaddy sending her mama money. Let me say it again. She tell us about her mama, but she don't tell us was your granddaddy in India, who was Brahmin Indian, sending your mama money. Go ahead. Give me your last take on it. I'm going to give everybody a chance.
Indeed. I mean, that was my point, man. She's speaking to that crowd, and we think that we're part of that she's talking to. Well, a lot of us are, we're under that. We're not in that. Her plan was for the 400,000. Anything under 400,000. But most of us are not making over 40,000, 50,000.
Most.
So
that's the average.
That's why this is going to help all of America.
Come on.
Come on. It's not. Who is it really going to benefit as first generation home buyers? We're talking about immigrants. It's got to be.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to benefit too much of anybody. Caller, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. Got a full queue. 310-388-3499 before I get back to the show. I'm taking one more caller, and then I'm going to come to the rest of y'all. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing? This is Troy.
You're a little too low. You're a little too low, Troy.
How you doing? This is Troy.
Yeah, give me your take on it. Oakland.
You already know. So, man, I'm shaking my head. I'm 42 years old. I've seen the prisons be, just packed in California for people like her, as far as being Attorney General of California, just running them up.
Locking people up, and they supposed to be out. They supposed to be out, and she got them fighting fires, and she don't know because it was her office. She don't know. All right. It's your office, though.
And they got 3-tier bunk beds. Some people sleeping on the floor. Climb up to the top. This is the woman that you guys are saying is going to run. And just my last comment, I don't understand why I'm talking to family members in D.C. who are teachers, and they're calling Joe Uncle Joe. They're calling Kamala sister. I mean, why are we adopting this fake narrative of family from our own enemies?
For the same reason that we wanted Beyonce to sing. Beyonce 5 years old or something. So that wasn't kids. That was your grown ass wanted Beyonce to come out. I can give a fucking Beyonce to come out. Her and Jay-Z can disappear. So let's talk. Let's keep it going. I want to keep going on this show. Get through the rest of this content. If y'all recall, I did two shows with you, but I don't think people remember. Y'all got to remember what we was doing in 2019 and what led to Harvard coming after us, what led to the media coming after ADOS, framing us as disinformation and bots and all. We were demanding policy. There's not even a space to ask for policy because this lady decided she's not going to give no policy. She's running for president with no platform. We shut her down with this Inquirer article. Myself, Yvette Carnell, and you guys as ADOS. This destroyed her. It was like, oh, she's not Black American, African American. She's what weird stuff? She's Indian. What? And you remember Nicole Hannah-Jones was lost. We gonna have a blackness test. Yeah, we gonna have a test of whether we ADOS, and just like I would call myself goddamn Jamaican out of nowhere. I'm not Jamaican. It's disrespectful. How the hell you gonna ask that goddamn question, Nicole Hannah-Jones? But then you, Nicole Hannah-Jones, know nothing. It's not what you. This is just the Hunger Games. This is real life Hunger Games. I believe that they're setting up a whole set of systems. I believe the truancy laws, because what it is, and Sheree explained it. She said, do you understand the power when they put the penal code under the education code and what it can do to you parents, particularly y'all in red states? God help y'all. Y'all don't seem to understand. I tried to help y'all. Again, I said when they put the penal code under the educational code and can then come after you when your child didn't go to school and snatch your ass right out of work. You didn't know. You ain't talking about it. I had several Black folks I sent the Sheree Peoples video to, and they came back with some conservative ignorance. Goddamn po people. And the reason why I say po people, because we all po people. Well, if she just had her paperwork and she got to know the rules, she knew the rules. She had her paperwork. Why the fuck you bringing that up to me? My guest had a paperwork and a sick child. You go talk to your cousin about that. I want to know why this woman went to jail. You goddamn Black conservative talking about you gonna vote for Kamala, and then you Black conservative, but then you at the DNC waiting for Beyonce to speak. Y'all remember this 30 days ago? How many of y'all saw this? I tweeted it. They showed that Kamala was one of the weakest candidates. That's why we needed an open convention. They did a chart. Risky choice, exciting, would beat Trump. Man, the least likely to beat Trump was Kamala. But all of a sudden, the polls are telling us that she ahead of him. The least likely candidate was to beat Kamala, and they picked him when Trump is the main issue. They saying, how we get this lady? Harris has a feeble electoral track record. She struggled badly in 2020 and barely before then won her first attorney general race in California. But she'll benefit from a likely unified Democratic establishment. Harris is a clear favorite to win the nomination and would allow the easiest transition to a new candidate. She has no demonstrated appeal to swing voters, and she cannot run away from the Biden-Harris record. They picked the lady that's all the way over here, over all these people. And now, 30 days later, they acting like she the champion. Let me take another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Tom.
Yes.
Hi, this is Kim. I'm from Vegas. I just wanted to call in and kind of speak to the baby boomers or people who are trying to talk to the baby boomers. I'm not 60 yet, so I consider myself a baby boomer.
Yeah.
But trying to talk to them is like trying to talk to a brick wall, and it's so aggravating. I've been called racist, even by friends and family, by the way. MAGA, that I'm selfish, that I'm the reason why Black people can't get anywhere, all kinds of stuff.
Well, hopefully you say that back to them when they feed her and they're 80 years old. You know, hopefully they understand that when the policy comes down and their daughter gets snatched up, the one that do hair, she a good person, but don't be organized, and her kid keep missing school because the kid is, he has an issue. He has an issue. We don't know. It's not diagnosed. But then we gonna talk about how did we get here? You voted for Kamala. Go ahead. I'm sorry for jumping in.
Right. No, I get it.
But we all got to go to court.
I don't know how you and Yvette do it. I really don't, because it's so frustrating trying to talk to these people. But I do remember something that Yvette said a while back, and she said, at some point you really don't have to say anything. So just like you just said, that in real time they're going to see it. They're going to see it.
Yeah, they're gonna ask you to go to court. They're gonna ask you to go to court with them and miss work. Because your sister. No, I'm just telling you how this is gonna go. And then all of a sudden we can't talk about it because right now we just gotta focus on the problem. I'm not living like that. Y'all can. I'm not living like that. So y'all gotta decide how you gonna live right now.
Right. Well, my appeal is for everybody, don't let up. It's like a brain, like they're in a cult, and it's going to take some time for them to, I guess, come around.
They're gonna be dead. They're gonna be dead soon. No, they leaving
boomers.
you problems. They leaving you problems. Ain't nobody coming around. Obama, it was 15 years ago, so that was their moment. They were celebrating all the wins. They had a great life. They bought houses. They lived during a time where you could have one person working. They seen their grandkids raise up, didn't save no college fund for their children or their grandchildren. I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about damn near all though. We allowed for them now to sit around and act like they're not part of why we didn't have ADOS. They did not do ADOS. How the fuck do you live here and excuse my language and not do ADOS? They have left us a hand where it's so backwards that we are fighting uphill and think we running downhill, calling ourselves black. What does that mean? So they think about this for a second. Think about this. So Kamala is black, Jamaican, and Indian, but you just black in America. Let me say it again. So Kamala is black, Jamaican, and Indian, mix and match. She could choose whenever, but you just black.
Right.
And she in your country. Come on, running for president.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Oh no, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I'm pretty much at my wit's end, but we have to keep going. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep talking to these people. And sometimes we just have to leave people, leave them where they are. So not everybody can come with us. So
come on.
Anyway, that was my take. I just wanted to appeal to people trying to talk to the baby boomers. You're not alone. Not all baby boomers think like that. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great call. Let me see what else. We got to keep going. I got other stuff. This woman is married to this white man. They ain't got no kids. They just got married. Goddamn prom wedding. The cute Dougie. It come out that he got a love child with the maid, and that's why him and his ex-wife broke up. They sweep that under the rug. In what world could Obama and Michelle have survived this? In what world could Obama have had a white woman? We find out that the white woman had a baby with the pool boy, and Obama still get to run like nothing happened. We shouldn't even see Doug Emhoff no more. Dougie with the Doritos. You had Angela Rye. She don't be making no sense. Remember, she called us bots. Did the Democrats tell you that? Somebody sent you an email that you got to say that out loud? You didn't talk. I don't know you. I know that we not bots. The 1,000 people I'm talking to right now. I know for a fact you don't know shit. You just be talking and I mean, it showed up right here. She came on this native podcast thing and she basically said, let me get it right. To suppress a whole bunch of votes that voted in the primary for Biden-Harris ticket. You don't vote in the primary for a Biden-Harris ticket. You don't have to get, this is what it comes when you're Democratic voting in the primary. It says Joe Biden. I don't want to hear no speculation. You knew we were talking about moving her off the ticket. He could have moved her out the ticket. There's no suppression of votes to say that you need an open convention because he's stepping away. For you to say that out loud, I don't know how you talk about politics. I don't know how you're here. One of the problems we're running into, Van Jones, her, so many others, is that they're beggars. In my view. They're not power brokers. Their parents are not power brokers. So what happens is they got to stay in good favor. So they can't give us good journalism. You got Van Jones up there crying, and then Trump then kicked him down the steps and I did this thing for you. To suppress a whole bunch of votes that voted in a primary for a Biden-Harris ticket. Let's say Joe Biden. This is March 4th. I think here go another one. Let me see. I don't got the full picture. All of them say Joe Biden. You had Hillary and Obama speak to family and how Kamala is about family and how we need to worry about whether there's separation at the border. But didn't nobody talk about Sheree Peoples and this truancy that Kamala enacted that led to this woman being dragged out of her house in handcuffs for truancy under the laws that Kamala championed on her own.
Can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents?
Kamala cares about kids and families, cares about America. Kamala cares about kids and families, cares about America.
She didn't care shit about no goddamn Sheree Peoples. She didn't care about them black men that she had fighting fires that should have been free. She didn't care shit about Matrice Richardson, who was we still don't know what happened to her with the sheriffs. I don't know what these people are talking about. They done made Kamala into an identity when she ain't nothing but Hunger Games. Can I talk? Support the channel, Tone Talks. I want everybody to understand. I showed this before, but many of you really don't understand how crazy people are that are talking to you because they don't know. There's no precedent for somebody stepping into the election this late. This should never have been allowed. The only way it should have been allowed is if Biden was incapacitated. The medically accident, he's not though. He's still the president. This is the craziest tyrannical we've ever seen, that they swapped this lady in. And then she has no agenda. And people are really going to vote for her with no agenda. And we do know that she did truancy laws. They're not going to ask her, are you going to do that federally? And she's admitted she wants to do it federally to Angela Rye. I showed it before. It is not unprecedented for an incumbent president to abandon his re-election campaign, but it is rare, and no president has been pressured out of a re-election campaign out of concerns about his mental fitness. Johnson and Truman left under pressure, handed the White House over to other parties. Comparisons between Biden and any of these presidents are not perfect. Neither Truman nor Johnson faced serious questions about their ability to do the job. Both Johnson and Truman, like Biden, were former lawmakers, but they left earlier, like the year before. Both Johnson and Truman faced competition for their party's nomination in 52 and 68, respectively. Both were embarrassed by a subpar showing in New Hampshire primary. He should not have been allowed to drop out. Barring, again, a medical issue, incapacitated, he's not incapacitated. And then you put this lady in and she shouldn't be here. She's not even competent. She can't speak well. She can't put together a speech. She don't have no agenda. She's not a political candidate for president. It's been about 30 days, and the craziest 30 days since Joe Biden said this. And I don't even think in the initial letter he said he wanted to support Kamala. It's like a bunch of behind the scenes. Me 1 month ago versus me today. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Philly, man. I'm glad that you are feeling better. First thing first, man.
Let me ask you a question. What you think about what you think about Biden admitting he was pushed out of the presidential race?
I mean, if that's what happened, that's what happened. I think the fact that it was just too late in the game. I don't know what else he could have done. I don't know what else the Democratic Party could have done at the point of him leaving the race. I mean, he definitely was a deeply flawed candidate.
No, but we already chose him. You don't get to choose late like this. I don't even understand what they did. Like, if that was the case, they should have did that in the primaries last year.
I think it may have been just actual physical limitations. If somebody is physically...
No, he's still the president, though.
...of appearing on the campaign.
But he's still the president. You can't say that.
Yes. I mean, you're right. I mean, you know, it's the difference between working at home and working on the road.
No. Listen to me. See, this is what I mean. Like, we don't work through things logically. He cannot be the president, and you say he can't run for office. He would have to step down to both for this to even make sense. They failed you. And there's something going on behind the scenes that y'all need to be demanding answers for. He cannot be president, and you say that he's not mentally fit to run for president. That don't even make no sense. But go ahead, give me your take on Kamala.
Well, I just want to say something about, because I work in healthcare.
Go ahead.
So I want to say something about the health disparities that so many ADOS people, especially
urban areas deal with ADOS children specifically can contribute to missing a lot of school. When you talk about asthma, diabetes, so many things that can contribute to truancy, not truancy in a negative way, but truancy in terms of just missing school. To have that bill without taking those things in consideration,
it's population. No, it's not just that. And I don't mean, you call it all the time. I'm not saying it to say berate you. I don't think we have the equipment to understand who Kamala is. In my view, Kamala is this right here. Let me go to the back. I might not have it. Kamala is this. She's Brahmin. That means that on this chart, she's the top part. Her thought process is entirely different in a way that ADOS are not equipped to understand. We would be untouchables or below. Listen, we would be untouchables or below untouchables. We have no context to understand what was her thought process when she instituted a truancy law that took the penal code and put it under the educational code. What was her long game? Is she thinking about population control as a goddamn Brahmin? We don't have the toolbox to understand what we're doing here. It's okay though. I don't have children. I hope for y'all that got children and sisters and brothers with children that aren't all there, that this don't come back to bite you. The myth of the Gento Brahmin. And listen to this. We go back to this article. This is an article in 2016 by Kamala's auntie. Whatever Kamala is today is because of my sister. My sister inculcated South Indian culture and values in her. She's an Indian woman. That's what she is. Just be ready for when a Brahmin Indian that you let come into your house, and I'm not supporting Trump when I say this, but you let a Brahmin Indian come into your house when she lay that truancy on you and you go to jail. Sheree Peoples had to go through that. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I tell people all the time when I discuss this, I say, someone who's not ADOS, right, cannot create or recognize policy designed to create a collective uplift for ADOS people.
They can create one. They can create one that creates a downlift. They can create one that creates a downlift. Ask Sheree P. She was a mother that had paperwork together for her daughter being sick, and the police came and dragged her out of her bed like a drug dealer. That's Kamala Harris. And it's not even being asked in the media.
I mean, you did a great job of bringing it up to your platform. Maybe more people are. It's just wild, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like somebody called it earlier. It was like, man, it's like talking to a brick wall. I try to tell people like, how can she be considered one of us when she was going back and forth to India in the summer, like
in the 70s,
North Carolina in the summer? Like, what is y'all talking about?
You know how much them flights was? You know how much them flights was? Listen to one last thing before you go. Listen to this.
Yes,
I'm not saying this is Kamala, but this just gives context because we don't have the toolbox to understand. In 92, a Dalit woman that's down there with the untouchables named Devi tried to intervene in a child marriage and was gang raped in retaliation by 5 men. One of them was a Brahmin. A fact that was used against Devi. This is the key part, not just the act. The judge presiding over her case claimed that a Brahmin man would not stoop to assault a low Dalit. When did us as ADOS get binded up with a Brahmin? I'm gonna let you go. That is the world that we don't understand. I have no idea what people are talking about. You got these black celebrities, they high school dropouts talking about this. Look, I don't know about setting up no comedy joke. The staging and the different things. Why they get to talk about politics? They don't even have advanced education. Oh, because politics is everybody. No, it's not. Most of the things that Charlemagne says is uneducated and very low level. He got 1 or 2 units of U.S. history at a South Carolina low high school level. That's who you listen to talk about politics. I don't know how you're not saying he shouldn't even talk to you. And he can talk about music or whatever. And I don't know he's a musician. I have no idea what his expertise is. Whoopi Goldberg is a full high school dropout talking to boomers that are college educated, and they don't even know she dropped out. I think at 10th grade or something, she dropped out. She don't even got her GED. At least the two men went and got their GED and got their 1 unit of U.S. history or 2. You got D.L. Hughley. He dropped out of San Pedro. These are people talking politics. They have no idea what they're talking about. Charlemagne the God. Trump's lack of any shows he don't want to be there no more. What is this idiot talking about, man? He's not educated. If we talking about basketball, go ask LeBron. We talking about rapping, go ask Jay-Z. We talking about politics, we gonna ask Charlemagne, the 1 unit U.S. history guy. Comedian D.L. Hughley said he was wrong to have Judge Kamala Harris. Boy, none of this makes any sense. I just wanted to come to you today, do this show, talk to you. I did this write-up. Make sure you go read it on my page. I think there's a consequence for this. You understand, she had 2 economic advisors, and they were both from BlackRock. They came and helped her write her economic policy. The one that we were supposed to get, they only came out with 2 things about price gouging. She eating Doritos, talking about price gouging, and PepsiCo makes the Doritos, and they did the price gouging. But nonetheless, they are using the generational suffering of African Americans to mask the oppressive set of policies Kamala Harris is set to usher in because she looks like ADOS. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, and share. I hope that y'all figure it out because right now we don't have a place to land. I ain't voting for Trump, but I'm damn sure not voting for Kamala. I'm out.